Coming up, an update on the 2 officers injured in a standoff, how the community is keeping their spirits up.
Plus, police are looking for 6 suspects wanted for a robbery in Milam County. Those details on that coming up.
And Aggie football's back, how the local economy will be impacted. It's Friday, August 20th. Good Morning Texas starts right now.
Connecting the Brazos Valley, this is Good Morning Texas.
Right now, Burleson County Chief Deputy John Pollock and a state trooper who's not been named are recovering from their injuries following Tuesday's standoff. Good morning and thanks for joining us. I'm Joey Horta.
And I'm Paige Ellenberger. The Brazos Valley community has shown an outpouring of support through prayer, kind words, and financial gifts. KRHD News reporter Rebecca Fiedler has the story.
He's a great guy. I mean, he has no self-serving interest whatsoever. I mean, his heart just goes out to people. When it comes to the law enforcement community, he is definitely one of the good guys.
Retired local law enforcement member Dale Cuthbertson is just one of many people who has worked alongside Burleson County Chief Deputy John Pollock and can call him a friend. Since Pollock and a state trooper were both shot and injured in a Burleson County standoff on Tuesday, Cuthbertson's nonprofit organization has stood ready to donate thousands of dollars to either lawman's family.
What we do is we take a look at what their expenses are. For instance, someone has to come in from out of town and they're staying at a hotel. We pick up the hotel. We pick up the food. We want to make sure that they're focused on the first responder.
The Brazos Valley Thin Blue Line Foundation financially assisted State Trooper Juan Tovar this year after he was injured in the Kentmore Cabinet's mass shooting. Donations have since quickly replenished that fund and can be directed towards the current injured officers once Cuthbertson meets with their family members to determine their needs.
I think one of the first things I heard John say or mention to somebody was that, man, are you okay? They asked John if he was okay, and he said, I'm just glad it didn't happen to one of my guys. So that's the kind of response John would give.
Brazos County Constable Jeff Reeves is also good friends with Chief Pollock. Reeves helped create the Brazos County First Responders Association, another local organization that helps those in Pollock's situation. This group has already presented the chief deputy with a $1,000 check. A $750 check was presented to the unnamed injured trooper. It's an act of giving that has been going on since the nonprofit was founded.
I actually was one of the ones that did create it, and when Brian Bachman got killed. And we saw a need at that time, of course, when the family loses a loved one.
After more people expressed an interest in donating towards the Pollock family's expenses, a GoFundMe account was created Thursday afternoon with a goal of raising $5,000. As of 5 p.m., the fund had raised over $1,200. For anyone wanting to give to the injured officers through these local nonprofits, the Thin Blue Line Foundation and the First Responders Association will be accepting donations on their websites and Facebook pages. Reporting in the Brazos Valley, Rebecca Fiedler, KRHD News.
This morning, Bryan police looking for the suspect in a shooting at an apartment complex on Tuesday. They tell us that 24-year-old Antoine Witherspoon is wanted in connection to this shooting at Casimir Plaza. The victim is currently in stable condition. If you know anything, call Bryan PD at the number on your screen this morning. Meanwhile, law enforcement in Milam County say 6 suspects robbed an ATM in what they're calling a coordinated event. Take a look. This surveillance video here of the theft unfolding. The suspects overtook the station's only employee on duty at the time and then made off with that cash box. You can call Milam County Crime Stoppers or the Sheriff's Office if you have any information. Today's a big day Aggies have been waiting for. It is the start of college football season.
The pandemic may have stopped people from attending home football games at Kyle Field last year, but this year's games will be back to full capacity, creating an electric environment and good business too. KRHD News reporter Rachel Esbayat joins us now with what this means for the local economy.
Vineyard Courtyard Suites Designer Hotel is a small hotel in College Station, and the manager says that during the year they thrive, but when there's a home time game and they can be at full capacity, they're going to need all hands on deck to get through the game days. Now, there are 47 rooms in this hotel. In a typical game day, when it is at full capacity, there's 150 to 250 people that stay at the hotel just to attend the games. Last year, when the audience size was reduced as a safety precaution against the pandemic, Vineyard says only about 50 to 75 guests were here for the games, showing the larger the audience crowd, the better for the hotels and other businesses throughout the Bryan College Station area.
Generally, we sell out all the rooms for football season right now. We're already sold out for most of the games this year, whereas last year it would be a couple days before people were still grasping, not knowing if they were going to come to town or not for the games.
The first game is on September 4th, and the hotel is already booked. In College Station, Rachel Espaillat, KRHD News.
Football time, man. It's already here.
It's here.
Well, is the weather going to change in time for it?
Boy, I hope so, because
Yeah.
it's just been hot. It's going to be hotter as we go through the day today. No showers, no thunderstorms expected today, although, as you can see right now, we've got the fog trying to settle in across the Brazos Valley again with the humidity that is in place. You're waking up to temperatures in the upper 70s, lower 80s as you're walking out the door, and it feels like it's in the mid 80s. Once we go through the rest of the afternoon, we're going to be shooting for the mid 90s once again today. Going to be another hot afternoon out there across the Brazos Valley. Radar shows you we are quiet right now, not only here, but across a large part of the Lone Star State, keeping those showers, keeping those thunderstorms away as high pressure builds on in. That's going to take us on into the weekend, keeping things toasty. Future track showing you there's not much going on this morning. We get into the afternoon, we'll see some partly cloudy skies. That's about it. Not expecting any showers, any thunderstorms, but I won't rule out seeing maybe one shower east of Highway 6. I think most areas just really stay dry today, though. Those south winds continuing at 15 miles per hour. They'll be around tomorrow, too. There may be a little bit more moisture tomorrow, but still the rain chance is going to be very low. Going to be expecting a drier weekend in place, at least until we can get into the middle of next week. That's when we may have a shot at some sea breeze showers and thunderstorms. Other than that, high pressure takes over, and that means showers, thunderstorms, they stay around us. We stay clear, and we start to really get toasty once again. Future track, here it is at Wednesday. That's when we may be able to see a few of these sea breeze showers trying to kick back in. Otherwise, it looks like it's going to stay dry. Highs today in the mid to upper 90s, 96 Bryan College Station, 98 in Hearn, 95 Navasota and Brenham. Normally should be at 97 this time of year. And then tonight dipping down into the mid 70s, 74 Bryan College Station, 70 Centerville, 74 also in Brenham. 10-day forecast looks like this. We'll officially go for a high of 95 today, 96 coming up on Saturday and Sunday. Then we bring more heat in, 97 Monday and Tuesday. Some small rain chances work in for the middle of the week. That's all they are, though, just some little small 20% chances of rain. Temperatures in the mid 90s going in Friday through Saturday. And then by the time we head into Sunday, maybe a little cooler, 95 to 93.
The Taliban looking for legitimacy, trying to form a government in Afghanistan, meeting with former Afghan leaders like Gmt Krhd At. But how will a Taliban government look?
Do we get lured into a false narrative that this Taliban is not the Taliban you knew, sort of not your granddaddy's Taliban, that somehow this is a newer, moderate Taliban?
Richard Goldberg was a division director on the National Security Council. He says the world should not be duped by the Taliban, even as leaders call for a more inclusive government and pledging to respect women's rights within the boundaries of Islamic law.
They're very good at telling Westerners what they want to hear. If you look at the writings and teachings of Taliban leaders, nothing has changed in their ideology in 20 years. This is the exact same Taliban.
But acceptance from the Western world is vital. The Taliban will need access to markets, banking relationships, and keep sanctions at bay. While most of the United Nations' 193 member countries may not recognize the government, the Taliban could still seat a representative in the body.
We've seen in different cases in history when there is a coup or a different government that comes into power, that seat remains available at the United Nations. and it's incumbent upon the General Assembly whether or not they continue to recognize a government or a seat as legitimate.
The United States is already treating the Taliban as the most powerful force in Afghanistan, talking with leaders several times a day. Other nations like Russia and China are moving closer to recognizing the Taliban as the legitimate government of the country.
Coming up this morning, never too early to start teaching your kids about how to manage money. We're catching up with an expert for tips on how to teach your kids how to budget, save, and spend without breaking the bank. Good Morning Texas. We'll be right back. It's never too early to teach your kids about finances. There's actually an app for that, just in time to help you pay for back-to-school shopping. And tech columnist Jennifer Jolly joins us with a review.
A lot of parents need help to pay for these sorts of things. So any smart ideas on how they can do that?
Yeah, absolutely. And what a great question, because a recent survey shows that more than half of parents with school-age children are super anxious about pricey school supply lists this year. So 2 tech tools to tell you about here, starting with Credit Karma Money Spend. This is a checking and debit account that really can help you as a parent or even to give to an older student, an older teen. I just gave one of these to my daughter who's going into her junior year of college. This helps them learn how to budget and save and spend, plus develop really good financial habits overall. It's free to open and there's no hidden fees or sticker shock. You just use the card like you would any other card. And then listen to this, you can get randomly reimbursed for everyday purchases like groceries and gas or textbooks. They call this instant karma, but I feel like it's a little mini lottery when I go to pay for gas and all of a sudden realize that they've covered it for me. Awesome. And then another service I talk about a lot is called Slick Deals. If you haven't used this yet, you are spending more money than you have to, no matter what. Some 12 million people use the site and the apps and the browser extension to find the best deals from all the top retailers. You can search for deals on things that you need or discover great products and reviews from a community of really savvy shoppers. You can even set an alert so you get notified when prices drop on something that you're totally pining for. You can find that at slickdeals.net.
All right. All great tips, Jennifer. As always, thanks for joining us today with that.
Thank you so much.
Speaking of finances, MasterCard is phasing out magnetic strips for its credit and debit cards in favor of the more secure embedded chips. The process will be gradual. MasterCard says magnetic strips will be optional for customers by 2024 and completely gone by 2033.
Febreze is introducing a new scratch and sniff technology to make their products fresh scent last longer. The new Unstoppable Touch Fabric Spray releases a fresh scent with every touch on soft surfaces like rugs, furnitures, and pillows. The company is hoping the new product's promise of long-lasting freshness will help Americans, quote, smell like they have it all together. And Macy's is giving Toys R Us new life once again. The department store says it's partnering with the toy store chain to sell toys online. Toys R Us shop-in-shops will also be opening at 400 department stores next year. This is the second attempt to revitalize the Toys R Us brand since it closed all of its U.S. stores back in 2018.
Millions of Americans will struggle with an eating disorder in their lifetime. But during the pandemic, some doctors across the U.S. are seeing this serious and sometimes deadly illness in a growing number of young people. At Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, there's been a steady increase in those being treated for eating disorders, from 108 hospital admissions in 2019 to 159 admissions so far this year.
We think this relates to both being out of normal settings like schools and athletics and things that keep kids connected to others, as well as spending more time online and more time at home.
Dr. Holly Gooding specializes in adolescent medicine. She says there are common signs parents can be on the lookout for in their children, including eating significantly less or more than they typically do, limiting or avoiding entire categories of food they once enjoyed, avoiding eating with the family or in groups, going to the bathroom or exercising immediately after eating, and significant changes in weight, whether that's an increase or decrease. She says it's also important for parents to be good role models.
Avoid talking about foods as either good or bad. avoid talking about our own bodies as good or bad, and just avoid focusing on weight or shape in general.
If you see a sign that something isn't right, Gooding says talk to your family doctor. They can check your child's growth to see if there's been a change.
The CDC doubled down on its recommendation that expectant mothers get a COVID-19 vaccine, citing new data affirming its safety and effectiveness.
A lot of these safety concerns that people had in terms of risk for miscarriage, birth defects, early delivery with receipt of vaccine have not borne out.
Still, according to the CDC's most recent data, an estimated 77% of pregnant women remain unvaccinated against COVID-19. In Florida, Kristen McMullen, sick with COVID, only held her newborn for moments before being whisked away to the ICU. She died days later. 31-year-old Gracie Miller lost her life to COVID shortly after giving birth to a baby girl. Neither were vaccinated.
That baby would never know their mom. I couldn't imagine life without him and him without me.
Contrice is now on the mend. She says she's fortunate to have survived the ordeal and hopes more pregnant women will get vaccinated after hearing her story.
I wish I had had more information. You know, that's the thing. If I had been armed with more information, I could have made an informed decision about the health for me and the health for my baby and the exposure to my family.
She got her first shot in her 8th month while still on oxygen and in the hospital.
It's worth it to get vaccinated. I'd rather take my chances with the vaccination than fare out here without it, because I've been without it and it's not worth it.
Reporting from Chicago, I'm Usher Qureshi.
Have you ever wanted to go to the North Pole? Well, now you can, and you can do it in style. We're giving you the details on this luxury airship when Good Morning Texas returns. Today is World Mosquito Day, so we better break out the bug repellent and watch out for the blood-sucking pests. There are more than 3,000 species of mosquitoes in the world, and most get a pretty bad rep, but only a tiny fraction of those are responsible for spreading diseases like West Nile, yellow fever, and malaria. The CDC says the best protection is prevention, wearing long sleeves, using bug spray with DEET, and just drain stagnant water near your home. Well, what's big, yellow, very heavy, and represents a 53-year-old tradition? Well, it's the annual butter sculpture at the Great New York State Fair, of course. The unveiling of the 800-pound masterpiece, which has to be refrigerated, is the unofficial kickoff of the fair. This year's theme is titled Back to School, Sports and Play. You're gonna need milk for that.
Well, it's not Santa's sleigh, but a luxury airship will get you to the North Pole and back for a pretty penny. A startup firm called Ocean Sky Cruises is offering luxury air cruises on this airship. Take a look. It's got a glass bottom. Steerable balloons is what these are, and the airship includes hotel-like cabins and modern technology. 16 passengers can fly up to the North Pole and have a picnic on the ice cap. The trip costs nearly $233,000 for a two-person cabin. Ocean Sky is hoping to kick it off their first expedition in 2023 or 24. Reservations are now open. It has a bar.
Right.
And it better, that price.
Right.
I'd rather buy a house for that.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And it looks too similar to a blimp.
It does.
Blimps freak me out.
And they've had problems in history, so I don't know if I'd be getting on one.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah. Not my idea of a good time.
No.
Back down here on Earth, what's up?
Temperatures, they're climbing up. We've got temperatures in the upper 70s right now, feeling like they're in the low to mid 80s. And later on this afternoon, we're going to be climbing in the mid 90s and feel closer to that triple-digit mark once again as this August heat continues. No showers, no thunderstorms. Rain chances are down today. Not expecting much in the way of rainfall. In fact, I think our rain chance is going to be pretty minimal here across the Brazos Valley. Not even across the Lone Star State as much going on this morning. We're going to be expecting the showers and thunderstorms kind of stay down towards the coastline later on today. Now, I'm not going to rule out one or two of them trying to meander up into some of our eastern counties, but I think a lot of us end up staying dry Future track showing you we'll have south winds at about 15 miles per hour today. Partly cloudy skies rolling in. Same thing coming up for Saturday, and Saturday will be even warmer. And we'll continue this warmer trend and this drier pattern that will be in place here across the Brazos Valley as we continue on into the weekend and even into the start of next week. High pressure really going to build on in. That keeps all the showers, all the thunderstorms going around us. That means that we stay dry. When you stay dry this time of year in August, you can really start to heat up, and that's what we will be doing as we kick off the new week. Now, as we head into the middle of the week, there are some signs this high pressure may back off a little bit, and that would allow for the potential for a few sea breeze showers and thunderstorms to move on in. This is just going to be small rain chances, though, nothing like what we saw this past week where we had all the rain that moved through the Lone Star State. Instead, we're just going to have a few of these sea breeze showers trying to kick on in. Highs today get into the mid to upper 90s, 96 Bryan College Station, 98 in Hearn, 95 Cameron, also 95 Navasota and Anderson, and a little tad cooler in Centerville at 93. Normally should be at 97 this time of year. We have been as warm as 107 back in 1999. And then tonight dipping down into the middle 70s. 10-day forecast looks like this. Officially, we'll shoot for a high of 95 today, 96 Saturday, and 96 on Sunday. Partly cloudy skies holding on. We'll call for 97 Monday and Tuesday, and then as we head into the middle of next week, that's when those small rain chances work in. There are some signs we may cool off a little bit too by the end of the week, maybe down to 93.
Okay, Josh, thanks for the update, and happy Friday, Brazos Valley.
Stick with us. We have more news headed your way when Good Morning Texas returns. Aggie football is back in action. The effect this season will have on local business.
Plus, a third shot is on the horizon when you can expect to get your COVID-19 booster.
And ACL updated its COVID-19 guidelines as we get closer to festival dates, what festival goers can expect before entering. It's Friday, August 20th. Good Morning Texas continues right now.
Connecting the Brazos Valley. This is Good Morning Texas.
Today's the day Aggies have been waiting for. College football season is kicking off. Good morning, I'm Joey Horta.
And I'm Paige Ellenberger. The pandemic limited the amount of people attending home football games at Kyle Field last year, but this year's games are back to full capacity, bringing back that football spirit fans enjoy. KRHD News reporter Rachel Espayat joins us to share why a full stadium is also giving a sign of a recovering economy. Good morning, Rachel.
Vineyard Courtyard Suite Hotels in College Station is a small one, and the manager says it thrives throughout the year, but knowing that Texas A&M football games will be back to having a full audience at Kyle Field means that pretty much every weekend, every home game weekend, they'll be booked.
It's looking like a normal football season for Vineyard Court Designer Suites Hotel.
It's a very good feeling to know that we are sold out and have a wait list for most of the games too.
The small hotel struggled to fill all 47 rooms during home games as the capacity at Kyle Field was limited as a safety precaution amid the pandemic.
Looking forward to having all of the guests back and alumni and all the students as well.
Now that restrictions are lifted, the Vineyard manager says it's a boost for all businesses in the community.
Just all of the foot traffic and excited Aggies coming back to town to enjoy Aggie football.
One of those Aggie football fans is Nina Rowe. She often travels and stays at the Vineyard Court for work and is making sure she attends a game this season.
You need to go. Okay. It's just a great experience. From the tailgate to the game to the after party, everything.
Staff at the hotel typically host extended social hours and tailgating at the property, pumped to see what this football season has in store.
Everybody's really excited in the beginning of the games. If A&M wins, then the whole weekend turns into a party.
Their first game is September 4th, where the Aggies will be taking on Kent State. In Aggieland, Rachel Espayat, KRHD News.
Rachel, thanks. The CDC and the FDA say that people will have access to doses of COVID-19 vaccines beginning September 20th. The guidelines suggest you should get the booster shot 8 months after your second dose. The booster doses will initially be for the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines. Johnson & Johnson is expected to make a booster announcement soon. Meanwhile, the Austin City Limits Music Festival released its new health policy for this year. ACL organizers say in order to enter the event, you must provide a printed copy of a negative COVID-19 test within 72 hours of entering. If you are fully vaccinated, though, you can use your vaccination card to get in. Information on masking will be released closer to the festival dates. The first weekend kicks off October 1st through the 3rd.
Over the past 2 decades, drug advancements for cardiovascular disease have dramatically slowed down, but a team at Texas A&M is working to change that. Research has developed a 3D bioprinted blood vessel. It mimics vascular function and disease response in order to better understand ailments. The team is hopeful that the models will give experts a better understanding of what happens to a vessel when diagnosed with a cardiovascular disease. And they also want to find a way to implant them into patients.
The second application is to use these blood vessels to implant them into patient for replacing their existing broken vessels and so on.
Vascular diseases account for 31% of global deaths. So they're making some improvements there that'll help people out. We're going to turn to weather now this morning. And Josh, a lot going on in the hurricane season.
Yeah, we had Grace that made landfall yesterday on the Yucatan Peninsula. There's where Grace is now, moving over the Bay of Campeche as we're moving over towards the rest of the weekend. Right now, 265 miles east of Tuxpan, Mexico. Winds at 70 miles per hour, so it's on the verge of hurricane strength, and it's likely going to be tracking off to the east. The track should have rolled in there. Let's see if we can get that to kick on. Once again, that tropical storm trying to work off to the east. There it goes. Friday at 1 p.m. rolling towards the Mexican coastline, then should make landfall there across central Mexico by the time we head into Saturday. So not going to be a threat to the Lone Star State. Instead, we're going to be dealing with the heat and that summertime weather is still moving on in. Upper 70s feeling like the low to mid 80s this morning. There's a little bit of fog out there, so give yourself some time to get to work or school on this morning. Radar showing you things are fairly quiet across the Lone Star State, though. No showers, no thunderstorms to speak of. Going to be one of those quieter days, especially compared to the last few days we've had. Today should be one of the quietest days we've had this week. I do think we'll see partly cloudy skies this afternoon. Shower thunderstorm activity should stay away from us. I'm not going to rule out 1 or 2 showers, maybe meandering into our eastern counties from the coast, but most of us miss out. Same coming up on Saturday. We should be on the drier side of things as high pressure starts to build back in. That's going to shoot all the showers and thunderstorms around us as we continue through the week. And by the middle of the week, we may have a little bit of weakening that will allow for a few sea breeze showers to sneak in from the coast, but I think most of us stay dry during that as well. They're going to be mainly small rain chances here as we go through the week. Highs today get into the mid-90s, 96 Bryan College Station, Summerville, 95 in Navasota, 98 coming up in Hearn, and then tonight dipping down into the middle 70s. And as you take a look at that 10-day forecast, we'll call for 95 officially today, 96 Saturday and Sunday, and 97 Monday and Tuesday. Then we get that little weakening of the high pressure. That's going to move us down to the mid-90s, bringing some small rain chances. We may drop to 93 by the time we head towards next weekend.
Hello, how are you?
This Kansas City ice cream shop is making sure everyone feels included one scoop at a time. April is giving her employees a different kind of training and a lesson in inclusivity, teaching some of the basics in American Sign Language.
I wanted the deaf community to feel comfortable coming here.
April is hoping to inspire other businesses to learn and make people with disabilities feel welcome.
Just try. The deaf community loves when hearing people try to include them or try to do sign.
I am a big fan of coffee.
And now you're going to be able to make any drink you want.
Yes, sir.
You are looking at the next great baristas of Tampa. They're at Coffee College thanks to a nonprofit that helps boost job prospects for people with barriers to employment.
Our programs are designed to make sure people can get out of a food line.
Barista training lasts a week and is an intensive deep dive into coffee history and delicious coffee making.
It's not like a server, it's an hourly wage, and it's anywhere between 12 and 14 bucks an hour plus tips. So they can end up making anywhere between 17, 18, even $20 an hour.
We love flavors, and we know people love the mixtures, so we decided to put my name on it so people know it belongs to Nelson, and we got the flavor.
Welcome to Nelson's Flavorades. When hot summer days hit Kansas City, Nelson's flavorful lemonade is a popular thirst quencher. The young entrepreneur has even received a van for his business. He has a message for other aspiring young business owners.
If you want to do something, put your mind to it and you can get it done.
Restaurants have suffered throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, and that isn't ending anytime soon. Beyond changes to dining and hours, they are dealing with rising costs of products. Some owners say they have no choice but to increase prices on their menus. You can't miss the smell of Gundalo Gourmet's homemade chocolate chip cookies when you pass by.
Say thank you.
Homemade, delicious, local options. It's what they're all about.
Oh my gosh, you're busy with your cookie.
Dana Sicko has been living that very dream for nearly a decade.
But you know what? It's great.
But of course, COVID-19 changed her business's purpose and future plans.
I have not changed our prices in a decade, and I finally had to, because there are things that will keep me up at night for the prices that they've increased.
Instead of simply focusing on serving great food and providing an authentic experience, she has had to stress over staying in business.
Most of the items that I need, from forks to paper packaging, have all increased by 50% or more. Gloves went from being $18 a box for 1,000 of them up to $90 a box. $90. I mean, I just hit the floor and I started crying.
Those increases have given her no choice. She's had to raise her prices.
By going up by $1 or $2, it makes a really big difference for us.
And she's far from the only business owner experiencing this struggle.
It's heartbreaking.
Gail Furman is one of the owners of Max's Tap House in Baltimore.
We are one of the top 20 beer bars in the world. We can hold 500 people in our establishment between our various rooms.
But the limited supply chain has given them no choice but to change their identity. With only one room open, they have pivoted to serving barbecue and are not receiving most of the beers they usually have shipped in.
Every supply chain that you look at is broken. And because of the limited labor, because of the limited product out there, products and costs are dramatically increasing.
She's also had to increase prices.
Chicken wings pre-pandemic, they were roughly $45 to $50 for a case. Last week, they were $196 a case.
But even worse, she's had to remove certain items.
Everyone knows about crab cakes and crab meat in Maryland. The price per pound has gone up from $21 a pound to yesterday it was $52 a pound, which is astronomical. So a lot of us have had to take crab products off of our menus. People just aren't going to pay the prices that we would need to charge in order to produce that product.
These increases could make or break local businesses like these across the country. Joanne Weiner, an economics professor at the George Washington University, says she isn't surprised by what's happening.
Partly why prices go up is because after you've had a downturn, when demand falls by definition, that when that downturn has become an upswing, well, people now have more money in their pockets. They go out and buy things. And as more and more people want to buy things, well, the way that the markets ration these relatively scarce things is they have the price go up.
She says it also feels drastic because prices haven't moved much in the last 10 to 15 years.
So there's no surprise that the eating out will get to be more expensive as the cost of workers goes up. And wages are going up, as we know, as restaurants try to attract people to come in and work.
Right now, there is no guarantee. These local restaurants are simply doing everything they can to stay afloat.
If I can take those prices down, I'm going to take those prices down right away.
In Baltimore, I'm Jessie Cohen reporting.
All right, up next this morning, State Farm giving out $25,000 grants to 40 causes across the nation. How you can help the Brazos Valley get one. Coming up next on Good Morning Texas.
In more news this morning, State Farm is giving out $25,000 grants to 40 causes across the nation as part of its Neighborhood Assist campaign. The United Way of the Brazos Valley is asking you to vote for them in their Ride to Health pilot program. The program is a ride-sharing service that connects volunteer drivers with patients who need transportation for non-emergency health appointments, mental health services, and pharmacies. Those wanting to vote can do so on the United Way of the Brazos Valley website. That's uwbv.org.
Rising college seniors are no strangers to change. The pandemic had forced schools to go remote, and many traditional internship opportunities were not available. Though the latter half of their college experience was plagued with obstacles, the silver lining is that so many companies are hiring.
Well, the demand is definitely high. There's lots of jobs for a variety of reasons. Companies reduced headcount last year. They're growing again.
Brandy Britton is a district president for Robert Half, a human resources consulting firm. She says the demand for employees is making employers work harder to attract applicants by doing things like shortening their hiring process and offering higher wages. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average wage for non-managers is $25.83. That's up almost 8% from the start of the pandemic. However, the fastest growing wages can be found in industries like hospitality and retail, where wages are up around 10%. So are jobs for blue-collar workers. With all these openings and many in the corporate world being remote, it could be hard for someone new to the working world to get a sense of the culture or fit of a job. Britton suggests looking into contract work, where you can gain experience but don't necessarily have to commit long term.
And they're saying, okay, I like this industry. I think I want to go with this industry versus that industry. And normally you wouldn't have that opportunity.
So what things can college seniors be doing right now to set themselves up for success? Using the skills they gained in remote school and being plugged into this tech-focused world can add weight to their resume.
It could be that you've built your own website or have built a social media following and you're using certain tactics, marketing tactics, and you can use that as work samples. All of these things are really powerful.
No matter what the industry may be, the future for the class of 2022 looks brighter than the tough years they endured to get there. I'm Vanessa Bashania reporting.
A black cat leads rescuers to a missing woman in a 2,000-year-old skeleton that still has hair. We'll take a look at that right after this.
Now to England and a harrowing story with a happy ending. It's all thanks to a black cat. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
Black cats get a bad rap, being known traditionally as harbingers of bad luck. But one owner of a black cat in England turned out to be very lucky indeed. The 83-year-old woman had been reported missing in a rural area near Cornwall. While searching, neighbors were alerted to her whereabouts by her cat Piran, whose relentless meowing revealed the woman had tumbled down a 70-foot ravine. Emergency crews responded and executed a line rescue using a stretcher to hoist the woman to safety. She was transferred to a hospital, and authorities say she's in good spirits. The woman's neighbor said without the beckoning cat, it could have taken much longer to locate the fallen woman. Local police went one further, taking to Twitter to exclaim, "Piran the cat saved the day." Luck may have been on the side of archaeologists in Italy when they discovered an incredibly well-preserved skeleton in Pompeii. Researchers say the remains are of a man who died in the final decades of the Roman city, which was buried in ash after a volcanic eruption nearly 2,000 years ago. The remains, found sealed in a tomb, were so well preserved that the skeleton still has hair on it. Markings on the tomb reveal the man was an organizer of performances in Greek and Latin. Experts say it's the first evidence of performances in Greek in the ill-fated ancient city. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
You can connect to us online. Just pull out your phone, open the camera app, and scan this QR code on your screen. When the banner pops up, just tap that and you'll find our website and also get access to our social media accounts. And you're going to want to have all that information handy as we head into this weekend to keep track of the weather, Josh.
Yeah, and thankfully it's going to be a quiet weekend, but it is going to be a hot and it's going to be a humid weekend. Those temperatures right now in the upper 70s. It's feeling like it's in the low to mid 80s at this time. And it's going to be one of those hot and humid days where we see temperatures climb up towards around 95, 96 degrees, but then in the afternoon feeling closer to 105. So another day you want to be hydrated, you want to drink plenty of water, try to limit your time outside if possible. If you do have to be out in the heat, try to take some frequent breaks in the shade. Radar is quiet this morning, not only across the Brazos Valley, but for most of the Lone Star State. Only shower thunderstorm activity we see is out in the Big Bend, and those are on the mountains of northern Mexico. A little bit of blow-off anvil clouds showing up there, but not much going on and I don't expect much to be going on through the day. Going to be a pretty quiet day. We'll have southeast breezes around 5 to 15 miles per hour, and I'm not going to rule out a stray shower kind of meandering in from the south into some of our eastern counties, but I don't even think that happens. We'll call for partly cloudy skies. Then we get into Saturday. We'll have a little bit more moisture thanks to those south winds, and again, we'll watch for maybe a stray shower trying to move on through, but the chance of rain will be less than 20%. So you're talking about a much drier pattern taking us on into the weekend and even on into the new week. As high pressure builds in, that's going to send all the shower, all the thunderstorm activity around the Lone Star State, at least until we can get into the middle of the week. And as that backs off, that's where we may see a few showers try to work in from the coast, some of those sea breeze showers, but even that is going to be a small rain chance. So we don't see any significant rain chances coming up here for the next week or so. Kind of good news when we've had all the rain we've had lately. Mid to upper 90s on the way for today. 96 Bryan College Station, 98 in Hearn, 95 Navasota and Brenham. And then tonight we dip down into the mid 70s. Your 10-day forecast looks like this. 95 officially for today, 96 for Saturday and Sunday. We'll call for overnight lows in the upper 70s. They're going to be humid when you wake up. 97 Monday and Tuesday. Then we get into Wednesday and Thursday. There's where that high pressure backs off. Some smaller rain chances working in there. And the rest of that 10-day forecast shows you we'll be sitting at 95 Friday and Saturday. May cool off to 93 by Sunday, but guys, it's just going to stay toasty.
Hot either way.
Yeah, it's summer in the Brazos Valley. It's what we're used to.
Well, anyway, it's Friday, so there's some good news for you.
There's that.
Thank you for starting your day with us.
We hope you have a great weekend and happy Friday.